This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com. Let's remind everybody that he even does some TV work. He's going to help host WCW Pro with Lance Russell. How would he have gotten this gig? Is this something he would have asked for, or were you involved in that? What can you tell us about how he started this?
I just think it was another way to distance him from the Rooster, let him be Terry. And he was a very good talker, understood the business, and he was the right guy. The great Lance Russell was able to help rehabilitate that image. And Terry was a good talker, and he's a fresh face. So I think that made sense at that point in time. Anytime you can work with Lance Russell, if you want to improve your announcing skills, he's one of the guys you want to go to.
Right. Let's mention too that he's going to very quickly find himself doing some different stuff, including losing to Michael Wall Street, Starrcade 90. That's his first pinfall loss. We covered this in our IRS episode recently. We also talked about him eventually becoming part of the York Foundation. Talk to me about what you felt about the pairing of Terry Taylor and Terry Runnels, who at the time was Alexandra York. I liked the look. I thought it was a cool concept. You know, in hindsight, maybe it feels a little hokey, but in the context of the time, it was kind of cool, kind of worked.
Yeah, I liked it. It was something fresh and new. Again, you got a new character. You know, Alexandra York was new. She was she did makeup for Larry King at CNN. She was around all the time. She did the makeup for the wrestling. So she was a fresh face, very, very attractive woman, had the perfect demeanor. The only thing that we saddled Terry with was hopefully she could learn. She knew more than we perceived. She was green. She didn't know how to do certain things. And that's not a knock on Terry. It's just the fact that she had no experience in that role. And all of a sudden she's not put in developmental. She's not sent to OVW type deal. She's right on national television. So I thought for her training and her background and how she entered that role, she did extremely well. And I liked the, computers are becoming more topical.
Yep.
And she had that little computer thing going. So I didn't have a problem with that presentation whatsoever.
It's almost kind of Michael Wall Street's gimmick, but when he slides out, Terence Taylor, we make a minor change. Instead of Terry Taylor, he's Terence Taylor, slides right in, gets the old slick back hair going, and Big Cat is introduced as his bodyguard. Of course, that's Curtis Hughes. And Taylor gets a win over Tom Zink at Wrestle War 91. And Tom Zink's another guy that I think WCW had really big hopes for, but for whatever reason, maybe never achieved at the way they would have hoped. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, Tom didn't connect with the audience. Tom had a little bit of that Terry Taylor mentality. I look good. I can wrestle. I can talk. So why aren't I on the top of the cards? And that's kind of how I felt about Tom and that deal. He was a very skilled, but he was sometimes a little too defiant, too self-absorbed, shall we say. And but talented, no doubt. Tom Zink had talent. He just had a less than desirable attitude for someone in his stead in life. You know, you kind of got to get along and to play along. And sometimes Tom didn't get along with the office, the things he said, questioning booking. And so that's just a matter of, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't say anything. I'm saying that if you're disgruntled or disappointed or, whatever, but Tom was just hard to please sometimes. And then Taylor became more of that the older he got, so I don't know, man. But I like the gimmick. We're repackaging Ricky Morton, and Tommy Rich is the other one I would say would be questionable. And then Terence Taylor. So, it was a bold move, but I thought it had some potential. Ricky Morton as a heel I thought was great. Tommy Rich got a new lease on life with that gimmick, and then of course there's Terry, and all kind of centered around Alexandra York. And she was, like I said, she for the lack of experience that she had, she did a hell of a good job.
Eventually, the York Foundation would include Richard Morton and Thomas Rich. Of course, Terence Taylor still here. And in hindsight, it feels like, hey, this is three guys we don't really know what to do with. Let's change their names and slick their hairs back, and let's just see what we can do.
Yeah, pretty much. There were guys that we all knew could work.
Yeah.
And so we didn't have anything specific for them. So this was created to repackage those talents. And I had no issues with that concept whatsoever. I thought it made sense. You got to use your whole roster. Everybody's got a role. And if they're so meaningless that you can't figure a role out for them, or they just don't fit your game plan, then you need to let them move on and go find some place to work that they can be better at. So I didn't have a problem with that situation whatsoever. But it brings us to one of the more infamous matches of 1991 as well.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.